Hello beautiful lovely gamers, my name is Jones. Today we're breaking down the best Genji in world water. He plays for the LA Legion, which is the contenders team of the LA Gladiators, and he also played for Global Esports contenders team, of course, which I know very well, as I reviewed Global Esports contenders run to break down a video on Kefri and so on, and of course it's still water. And it was interesting to see that game because Wings, which is the head coach or was the head coach of Global Esport, made this really fun and really cool and made it work with a DPS team composition. There were Sombras, there were Doomfist, there were Genjis involved. And Water played Genji in the peak of Goat's Beta. That's how fucking good this guy is. So we will break down his playstyle, how he dominates, how he carries here. He plays a little bit with he plays more with his team here, but we will still pay attention to how he absolutely just destroys people. Of course, his Twitter and his Twitch will be linked down below, so do check him out. And for the people of this community, or the people that want to join this community, as we will do more pro reviews, so liking with bell notification and subscribing with bell notification and liking the video. It would be nice if you guys could like with bell notification. Is of course always appreciated on the video, so you don't miss the content. We will do way more pro reviews. Shadowburn is on the list. Tell me down below who you want to see me do. But also there will be a live stream the 21st to the 23rd. So Friday to Sunday. The time will be set in the end. There will be more information in the end, but we will do coaching and so on. So my Twitch, my Twitter, and my Discord server, all of that is linked down below. And more information about that, including if you want to hire me as a private coach. It's €50 for a 2-hour session, so hit me up on Discord. But more information about all of that will be in the end of this video. Now, with no further ado, let's really just begin and breaking down his stuff. What we want to take a look at when it comes to this stuff is that we will want to take a look a little bit about when it comes to water. He's very active. This is something that you will notice if you watch more and more pros. This also was one of the things that I mentioned with the friend. He's super fucking active. So they're very active. He's very active. He does not give any space, which is a very, very interesting way of seeing how he doesn't give any space, how he fights for space and just claims it and keeps it for as long as possible to really just milk out any, like, if the enemy team wants to get a little bit of ground, he just milks out how much damage he can get out of that. He's very good at keeping pressure. The enemy team runs a very heavy team composition to begin. They run Sorry Diva. How Water deals with that is the very classic kind of mentality that, okay, so I'll keep a lot of pressure, and he's very good with that, with his positioning and being active and not giving space, right? So he's here in this kind of loop where he's like, okay, I'm just dealing damage, keeping pressure on them, looking for an opportunity. If nothing happens, cool, I build Blade. And at that point, I just press Q, and because Water is so fucking busted, and absolutely every time he fucking pulls a blade, it looks like a montage, right? He will get killed with the blade. It's a very classic kind of Genji mentality that's like, okay, I'll look for frags, I'll try to make plays and whatever, but if not, I'll build blade and I'll win with the Dragonblade. And he pulls it up very, very nice, so we will of course see that. He's very mechanically gifted. He's really mechanically good, but, and this is very important if you're gonna try to, be budget Water, right? What you want to make sure is that when Water does something, he normally have a way out. And this happens for most high tier players. They go in, they do something, even though he's very high mechanical, he normally have a way out, a way that he can dash, or a way that he can, deflect, rotate, and then dash to get safety back to his team, right? That's a very, very, very big difference, so we will take a look at that as well. He loves his very, very favorable combo, which is his, dash, right-click, melee, which is his burst. Very easy to pull off, very effective if you know the different ranges of your hero, right? So essentially, 15 meters is your dash range, so you want to be 16 to 17 meters, a little bit behind your dash range, right? You line up with the target, right? Essentially, you then dash, right-click, and then you melee, and it's an instant one-shot. And it's more effective to do that compared to having to do a right-click dash melee, right? If you notice a difference here, especially at this range, right? Right-click dash melee, right? It's not a one-shot. So it's super consistent if you know how to do it. It's very good to pull off, and it's just an easy way to delete people. Very easy on stationary target like Widowmakers and Arms and so on. He loves that, so if you want to practice that, that's the combo that you will see a lot. I felt like I want to address it. How Water will be playing, especially first point, is very, very fun and very, very interesting. So what he will be doing is the enemy team will be fighting at this choke, so he will go here. As soon as the team gives space, instead of him giving space as well, he will angle himself here, right? There's also, of course, that when the Ryan pushes in, Water can shoot the Ryan, and he can attack the backline. So right now, because of the wall, and because the enemy team hasn't probably fully pushed through, right, Water has an off angle on the Ryan without anybody pressuring him back. So you can hold this for a little bit, which you will then use to rotate here, which keeps the same thing. He just keeps it, and this does that he never lost space. He was here and was fighting. Now then he went here, and now he's here. And all of this does that he's still keeping the space where he can attack the Rhine, he can strike the tank line, and he can also strike the back line from this position, not giving any space, keeping active and really doing that. They want to push here, cool. I will make their Rhine out low so we get an advantage. I will be able to target the other tanks, I will be able to target their DPSs, I will be building my blade, I will be looking for frags. Besides that, what you will notice is the similar thing. So now right now he's controlling this choke. When the time comes that he will be stuck in this choke, what he will do, instead of fighting front to front, as that's not what we like these crossfire situations, right? He will rotate over, he will make sure that his team is safe, first of all, that his enemy team is a little bit weak, so that he knows that he can leave for a second. He will rotate here and attack the back line, right? And look for picks, as now there's an opening here, as the entire front line is up here fighting, there's an opening in the back line, and he can do more from this position, right? As there's a tank line with shields and stuff, and that's not a very effective way for us to play. Going here is just feeding, right? Off-angling here is just getting beamed by Azaria. So he will strike the back line instead, again being active, looking for kills, and of course he's here, then he can just get out and back to his team back there. And when they then get pushed onto the point, he does the same thing. He takes this high ground, allows the tanks to push in here, where he can then of course start shooting at them and start poking down the Rhine and whatever, but also allows him access to the backline by going over here and then attacking the backline, right? So every single time he's like, I can off angle, I can bullet the tanks, or I can strike the backline. I can always get targets in the backline, and I can always apply pressure to the tanks. So let's take a look at the VOD itself. Okay, right, going here, spamming, just again building blade. Notice, okay, so he's 20%, right? 36% because the fire strike effect, right? Notice that he's like the beginning of the fight right now. The enemy team is engaged. He's 37% of the blade already because how active he is, right? This is where I think this is a misplay, of course, because you don't want to land in between the enemy Rhine, Zarya, and then 4 players behind you, right? Which is a D.Va, a Widowmaker, and Ana, right? So I think that he somehow missed the ledge, no clue how, but I think that he somehow missed the ledge. But he's gonna improvise with it, and he's gonna continue to just deal damage, dash back a little bit earlier than he probably wanted, but still 50%, right? And this is where I said that he's fighting for the space, right? With this off angle here, right? Here's Ryan, he climbs because they off angle the shield, lands here, applies a little bit of pressure. Probably wanted to hold that for a little bit longer, but still this is a good, decent amount of damage. The flex here makes sure that his team is safe. His Ryan has full health. Their Ryan lost a pretty big chunk of his health here, or at least a decent chunk, right? Right there you could see, I don't know if you guys can see it, it's a little bit low resolution and a little bit difficult too. But with the deflected fire strike, here you go. So his health is right to about here, right? So he lost most of his health on this area. So okay, the Ryan can't push. My Ryan is at full health, so he will do this rotation, wait for his reload, wait for his dash, and instead of just running in a straight line towards the wood, now he will go up here, slide, she's discorded, do his the dash right click combo, and again, won't give space now. His team, he can get out if he wants to. He can just dash that way. There's no one-shot potential, so why give the space? So he just fights them here, right? Why not, right? So he deals damage, he gets a little bit low, his team pushes in and chases them away. He managed to survive with 36 health, which is a little bit like really stretching it, but he felt probably that he had more than good enough control, so it's fine. He deals a lot of damage, and now he got Blade, right? So now he's not giving this space again. Now he's playing up here, he gets Nano, right? So he doesn't need to dash onto them, he's already on them when he pulls a Blade, right? Very consistent way of doing it. Killing the tanks, whatever, finishing them, right? That's a triple, and then finish this. And again, like montage plays, right? And now, instead of now just standing and emoting like most bronze players do, you just start spamming the choke, right? You start trying to get some ult shot out of this and whatnot, right? Try to look for a pick, right? There's a Widowmaker that's here alone. She dies, which I would almost say is just the enemy team doing a misplay, more than what doing a pog play, but it's still really cool to watch. The victim to grab, right? 33%, 23% already. Doesn't give the space again. He just bullets the Rhine, off angles into the Rhine to deal damage. The D.Va tries to take high ground against him, which again, in this situation, right? The D.Va most likely won't get heals right now, as his team probably is under the bridge somewhere, while Water, it got Ana pockets, right? So Water is pocketed up here and can just farm off this D.Va if she tries to keep it. That's why it's difficult to get Water off this area, because he can get support, right? Grab comes out, and because he is in this position already, he can either be in the grab or he can attack this Widowmaker, which is what he is going to do, because he doesn't want her to, you know, just pop off and frag out. 90% on your blade, right? Already, he used one fight, then they grabbed. He built a little bit on that, but he built most of it before the grab happened. And now it's back to another blade, right? So again, he's doing this really good way of just trying to destroy the bunker comp. He's going to try to hide here. Walls is going to get popped, so he's going to rotate, use his defect to make sure that he's safe. Dash to make sure that he's even more safer, right? An off angle here, logically again, doesn't want to be hiding behind there. But again, the same logic was there. That, okay, I have Blade. Why not just start in the back line, right? Why start here when I can start here? Then Walt got popped, so he had to rotate back to his team. He's going to off angle because he now has better access to the enemy backline and to the enemy backline, instead of compared to like having to stay here, right, behind his Rhine, where this is a far longer area to dash to, right? So taking this, of course, again, doing the same thing that, okay, I have crossfire onto the enemy team, and my team is most likely going to fall back here anyway, so Water can just rotate back to his team if need be, right? So this is actually not a splitting from him, as he can just do this and then he's back to his team, right? The enemy team pops Soundbearer and he's going to push, so Water's going to rotate up here. He doesn't want to take too much damage, right? He's very visible by his Ana. He's going to get nanoed. And, of course, cutting twice, right? Notice that you don't need to just spam shift, right? You can see that there, right? He doesn't need to spam shift there, so he just cuts twice, right? He goes down, 1, 2. He didn't need to spam shift, right? He rather want the shift right now to kill the Ana, right? And then he got a 4K instead. So you kind of see how it's, and again now, pushing the spawns, right? Okay, now I want to be active, looking for a frag. Maybe I can get the Widow. Couldn't really get the Widow. Okay, that's fine. Setting up my next defensive setup, right? Waiting for the enemy team. And back into the backline. Now he's gonna be starting to play, right? That's known as a very aggressive play, but he still does it, right? But it's a very aggressive play. The Graviton comes out. I don't think he was expecting his teammate to grab this early. That's just a cleanup, but it looks cool nevertheless, because he's going to go stash there, which just looks pog. 44% on this blade, right? What you have to notice now, Chad, guys, is that they have picked the McCree now. So that means, okay, Water needs to be far more cautious about diving the backline. They also have a break now, as there's 2 stuns on him. So that is going to be his downfall, that he can't do the same extensions into the backline as he's done against the Widow D.Va because of the stuns. But he will get caught out because of this, and also he needs to watch out now for the positioning, because this is a very, very normal way to stop something like a Genji going solo on the team, right? If you have your Rhine here, their Rhine there, and the Genji here, and you have a Widow, it becomes difficult for her. She has to land a snipe, which is far more inconsistent, and where you can dodge LOS and so on, and she can't play as aggressively, while a McCree at this position can very easily just play here. And this does that Water cannot bully the tank, because if he pulls a tank, he gets shot by the Cree or stunned, right? And the same goes, right, like it's kind of like a safety net. The same goes here. If the enemy team has a Ana, for example, and she's set up here, Water has problem going for the Ana because the Kree's here. So if he goes for the Ana, the Kree can stun him and kill him, and he can't really look at the Ana and the Kree at the same time. So it's a really good way of creating like this kind of safety system in the backline to protect against Water's Genji, which is clearly what they're trying to do. Those picks are most likely just purely because of this. He's going to get nanoed here to try to get some picks. He's going to dash around and so on, trying to deflect the Graviton. Doesn't get it. I'm gonna get stunned, gonna get very low and try to blade, which is again where the McCree pick comes into play, right? Notice that he was always in, let's see here, right? Zenyatta is there, right? The Kree's here. He goes for the Zarya a little bit because he want to build his blade, right? So he's 80% now on that little move. He's 80% now. Tries to deflect the Graviton, doesn't get anything out of it. He's 99, but the Kree's still on his right, and that's why he gets stunned, Fanda hammered, and then with the Zen Orb and the Zarya on him and so on. That's the problem with going solo engaged on the back line. When your team isn't creating pressure in the front line, that is exactly the problem, that 3 players got to turn on Water right there, which is kind of bad. Again, his team is kind of fighting. They're kind of getting staggered. He's just looking for cleanup and getting it, and again taking these aggressive fights, aggressive plays, which are giving him 40% of blade, right? Now it's a little bit of poking with the Reinhardt, trading some hits, right? 50%, right? Constantly active, constantly fighting them, right? Looking for opportunities and so on. Of course, knowing his limits, but constantly fighting them, right? The same with this position here. Of course, this does the exact same thing as before. Pressure here and access to backline, right? So he's pressure here on the front line and access to the backline, right? So he's just poking away. The Graviton is going to come out. A really shitty trance from their Zenyatta is going to come out. And Water's going to die because, again, the McCree, right? You can actually notice from his point of view, if you watch from his point of view right now, right? You can see Water is just kind of jumping around over here, right? Doing his thing, while the McCree can kind of just stand here and just like tap him. Of course, it's good aim from the McCree, but the fact is that it isn't very easy way to, or quote unquote easier way to counter the Genji play, because you have stun and because you can set up these kind of safety nets to just easily punish his positioning. Water is 80% on Blade here. He's gonna push out, just again do some poking. He's gonna dash here so he doesn't die, just to make sure that he doesn't stagger himself. I'm gonna get healed and start fighting. He's gonna play. You're gonna notice how he plays right now, and this is gonna be where they kind of full hold. This is the reason they're hiding, is because of a high noon. They're gonna high noon now, and now he's gonna pop the most pog play in the entire game. So the enemy team is lined up. He's gonna run towards him with deflect. Does this cost him anything? No, not really, right? Because you can cancel your deflect with a dash. So if you didn't want to anymore, if you just want to engage, you could just dash. You get to close the gap as well, so you can in theory now dash onto a target, pull the blade, and then he's already gotten 80 damage in with his dash, and then he can cut and dash again, right? So he deflects, and the gravitons actually come out, which is the sorry I like trying to counter him, and therefore it's a really big cleanup, right? It's actually a pog play. It's so good that I'll play it back in full speed. Let's see. Here we go. Just because it's just so absolutely gorgeous. Runs towards him, deflects the graviton, dashes here, pulls the blade, and clean up, right? It just looks really good. So yeah. So remember that you can always cancel your deflect with your dash. He's gonna push up here, again claiming a little bit of space. And oh, sorry about that. I just woke up when I'm recording this video. And attack the backline, right? And this is actually gonna be a little bit bad, right? Because now you can notice one thing, right? His team is not here, right? His team is way over here, right? So him putting a dash here, right? Where's his escape now, right? Like he can maybe climb here, right? But then he's kind of stuck here, and then he needs to wait for dash, and then he can go here. So this is actually a really bad overextension, as his team is nowhere to be found, and therefore he won't get any supports, right? So him fighting here, and then he path backs around to try to fight the Kree, misses the shots, and now you can kind of see how he struggles a little bit. Like his team is up here trying to help him a little bit, but the Kree now gets armor pack, harmony orb, right? And at that point, you know, also gets a sorry bubble, and at that point, you know, Water's just fucked, right? So this is one of those times where Water did a misplay because he tries to be even more pog than he is, and the enemy team just set up a much better supply system on the McCree. He almost beat the McCree even though there was harmony orb, armor pack, and sorry bubble on him. Gonna chase this Lucio for a while. Lucius is so annoying. Maybe spending a little bit too much time on this one kill, but it's fine. His team is really just cleaning up, so he gets the frag, and they're gonna win because of it. So a little bit of an overextension. So essentially, Water died 3 times here. That's like kind of worth pointing out. One was because he essentially solo engaged on the back line, and there was no pressure on his front line to deal with it. It's very common mistake, especially for low elos for Dragonblades, where they will be dashing, you know, before the fight is out, they will dash solo into the back line and hope for frags, instead of waiting for the fight to break out in the front line, so that the enemy team has burned abilities and it's busy, and then you blade the back line, right? It makes your blades much more safe. That was one. The second was, of course, here in the Graviton, when he was up here and the Kree came as kind of like a safety net onto his Ryan and just tapped him twice and killed him, which is a combination of not paying attention and kind of being like, okay, this fight is lost anyway, so let's just try to see what we can get out of it. And the third one was being very solo here in the back line, so again, they can put multiple resources on him and deal with him instead of, well, essentially put multiple resources on McCree, so that McCree can win the 1v1 instead of him winning the 1v1. So yeah, that's the breakdown of Water's gameplay. Very aggressive, very smooth, and just gorgeous to watch. If you like that kind of content, I will be streaming on Twitch, as I said, the 21st, the 22nd, and the 23rd on my Twitch, which will be linked down in the description. If you want to hire me as a private coach, it's 50 euros for a 2-hour session. Doesn't matter if you're bronze or top 100. Hit me up on our Discord server and we can set up a session. Besides that, guys, like and subscribe with bell notification. I love you guys very much. My name's been Jonal. You guys stay positive, take care of yourself, and as always, keep the enemy in your crosshairs.